And now, the bottom line is here. Terrible twos.
The bottom line.
Terrible twos. It's the time for the terrible twos.
Bottom line.
Terrific two.
Bottom line.
Yeah, terrific twos, Scott. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the final two questions of the show.
Terrific line, bottom two.
The bottom two. Yeah, question number one of the final two questions of the show. They're also the most important questions.
Mm-hmm.
Number one is, on a scale of 1 to 10, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, get your poker face on. What would you, oh God, of course you're going to give it a high. What would you give Curb Your Enthusiasm, the first episode entitled The Pants Tent?
I'm giving this one. I don't know why I didn't give it like a 10 or something like that, but I mean, it was good. It was good. It was fine. I laughed a lot. I liked it, and I'm giving it an 8.9. So it's a high mark, not my highest mark ever, but it was a good show. Solid, good, funny. It was really good.
Scott Q. Baker. Scale of 1 to 10.
Q is for cute.
Cutie.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
The old switcheroo.
Yeah.
Yeah. 7.
Why? Yeah. Just out of curiosity.
Not
out of anger.
I mean, Ryan's prediction was pretty spot on. I thought it was
giving Ryan the satisfaction of having a correct prediction. That's pretty low of you.
My satisfaction.
Gotcha.
My joy in life is getting Ryan's satisfaction. I thought it was funny. I didn't like laugh out loud and feel like, oh my God, I gotta keep watching this thing. Funny.
I don't know if I've ever heard you laugh out loud.
It's happened. I've done it. Yeah. I chuckled and I don't know. I mean, it wasn't
cool.
bad. Yeah, it was good.
A 7. That means he likes it. That means my prediction was correct.
Right.
Solid. Yeah, it was solid.
Now for me, guys, the bad news. The bad news bear. Here he comes to rain on your shit parade.
No, he's not.
Which would actually clean it a bit. Michael, for the second week in a row, we're very close. Last week we got the exact same number. Not this time. The number I've been feeling since last night is an 8.7. Maybe it might even be higher if I wasn't in such a sour mood. Boy, oh boy, was I crotchety.
Well, maybe it should get a higher score because it was so funny. It brought you out of that crotchety mood.
I don't want to leave the crotchety.
No, okay. He loves the crotch zone.
Yeah.
So obviously, yeah.
So the point is,
Ryan the crotch.
8.7. That's not going to take 8.7. Final answer. So, final question also is here upon us. For the purposes of this podcast, we all had to watch the first episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm by Larry David, entitled The Pants Tent. But now that the podcast is over and you're free to move about the internet, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, would you watch the second episode of your own volition?
What do you think?
I think yes. I think depending on how much time you had when you watched it, you'll consider watching the second episode right there and then.
Not really. I mean, I've seen most of it twice. I've seen the first few, like the first season, maybe like 3 or 4 times. I've seen most of the show. Is it funny? Yes. I've seen most of the show twice. I've seen season 10 only once. And I'm very excited to watch season 11. And this is definitely a show that, my wife and I have to put her to bed at night by watching some TV. And I want to watch something that I want to watch. And she wants to watch something that she's seen before so she can just drift off. So this might be one of our future rewatches for going to sleep for sure. So
But then
I would definitely watch the second.
Can you fall asleep to a comedy, or doesn't it make you laugh?
So usually if she needs some time to wind down first, so we'll watch. So right now we're watching Last Man on Earth, rewatching Last Man on Earth, which we've both seen before. And that's funny and we laugh, but then I put on Scrubs, which she doesn't like, and she falls asleep almost immediately.
But are you able to fall asleep to funny
I am
stuff?
not able to watch. I am not able to fall asleep if the TV's
so you
on.
eventually turn it off. Got it.
So I just put her to sleep, and then when she's asleep, then I'll finish the episode that I'm watching, and then I'll go to sleep. But so I would definitely watch the second episode, and I'm looking very forward to watching the 11th season when it comes out pretty soon, I think.
A couple times I started to kind of tuck her out while watching stand-up comedy routine. So I was like, oh, let me just listen to this. But then I start laughing, and you can't fall asleep when you're laughing. That's why I was so curious when you said that. You're going, and then you're like, shit. Anyway, so Scott R. Baker, would you watch
R is for real?
Yeah.
Keeping it real.
Would you watch the second episode of Your Own Volition? This is a toughie.
I couldn't see it as a show that I would like pursue to sit down and watch. Like, all right, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to watch this show. I could see it as maybe something like I put on in the background, like when I'm cooking breakfast. I like to have something on.
Another cooking show.
Yeah.
That I can sort of pay attention to, and if I don't, like, if I miss 5 minutes of it because I'm, doing something else, I get distracted or whatever, I could see it being that kind of thing that I just put on to be like, oh, I'm just down. I'm going to watch all this while I eat breakfast, and then when I've gone through the whole show, move on to something else. That's, but whether or not this is the show that I'm going to do that with remains to be seen.
You still have to give us an answer though. So.
Yeah, that sounds like a yes, but it also kind of finished off with a question mark.
Yeah.
Would you theoretically watch the second episode of Your Own Volition?
Yeah, theoretically.
Okay. Great. And what's your breakfast of choice, by the way? I really want to get the full picture of you watching this show while having breakfast.
Mm-hmm. Well, I usually make like a breakfast burrito. So it's like chop up potatoes, like thin sliced real small, onions, spinach, eggs, and then usually maybe like cheese, salsa, maybe
tortilla,
a little bit of avocado on the tortilla.
Oh my God, this is breakfast. What are you thinking? That's a
burrito.
lot of, what do you eat breakfast at noon? It's going to take you forever to make all that.
Well, it's 10:30, 11. Yeah. it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long to cook at all.
Yeah.
Because you put the onions and the potatoes in there, and then by the time you get all the other ingredients out of the fridge and chop up the spinach and get the eggs and pour the orange juice, the potatoes are done and ready to go, and then you can throw it all in there. Yeah.
Party at Scott's house, man.
Yeah.
Spend the night, sleepover, slumber party.
Fun.
So
yeah.
I would watch the second episode. I'm not necessarily curious to where I need to see what's going to happen next, because who really cares? It's not really the point of the show. It's mostly like, hey, that was enjoyable. Let me treat myself to another enjoyable situation in which I can laugh at this guy's shitty situation. So yeah, the show deserves to be watched a second time, I think, because it's good. It's good.
And Porno Gill is like episode 5 or 6 of season 1.
Stop trying to get me to watch the 5th.
You can just
I'm not
skip
even
right
saying
to
I
Porno Gill.
will watch the second. I just would theoretically.
Yeah.
All right.
You will.
Maybe.
Yeah, you will.
Well, we've done a lot of good here, everybody. It is now time to bid you farewell. Please remember to comment in the comments section below, and you tell us, what shows would you like us to review by typing, that is, WTF, a man called Hawk, WTF, Shaft.
No, we couldn't find that one, remember?
You're right, we did look.
So
But
Rock
you can still
Lofton suggested us to watch that one, but we couldn't find it.
And what Ciroc
WTF.
says, we
Lassie.
do. Lassie. WTF.
WTF, Mr. Ed.
WTF Monday Nitro.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Where would we watch that though? Even
Who knows? We'll ask Darnell. He'll know. Or Aaron. All right.
Aaron would know.
That's it, everybody. What I'm trying to say is this podcast was crotchety.
This podcast was pretty good.
This podcast really curbed my enthusiasm to watch it again.
All right, everybody, scratch that from the record or strike that from the record. Please be sure you like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. Give us those comments below. Follow us on social media. And always remember what Mr. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg demands of us.
Don't forget, people, to register to be an organ donor. And don't forget to watch The First of Things. The end.
Freeze frame. Hey, my crotch. Look at my crotch.
Yeah, see, that's a good freeze frame that you're not doing.
Hey, freeze frame on Larry David.
Yeah, on his crotch. No freeze framing. Just
look, I'm
we don't
the
really
reaction
freeze
that he's
frame.
having. Freeze frame.
We don't freeze frame. It's just we just talk. We just move.